Howdy Farm Friends, how are you this evening? Eleanor and I are here hanging out. Jacqueline will be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. And so we're just giving everybody a few minutes to get in here before we get started talking about too much. I hope that you saw our last couple of videos. If not, go check them out. We are hatching eggs right now, right? What kind of eggs are we hatching, Eleanor?
Hatch and tomorrow's lockdown.
What, oh yes, tomorrow's lockdown, but what kind of eggs are we hatching?
We are hatching blue and speckled eggs, and we're also doing silkies.
Okay, yeah. All right, so yeah, Eleanor is right about some of that there. We are hatching silky eggs that we got from our very favorite silky breeder. And
That we got Bonbon from.
that we got, let's see, are all of our silkies hatched from his eggs, Eleanor?
I don't think so.
No, I think you're right. I think we may have like one or two.
Because we have a silky baby cochin that's really big now that was not hatched. Ariel laid that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ariel. Well, Ariel isn't a silky though. What is that, Ariel?
She's a cochin.
She's a cochin. She's a bantam cochin.
I
And
like-
what color is Ariel?
Blue.
Blue. That's right. And so yeah, I think almost all of our silkies are from this silky breeder that we're using this time. I think we may have linked to his information on our last video that we put out, the one we put out on Monday. I will check that. I don't want to put all of his information out there if Jacqueline hasn't checked with him, so I'm not going to put that here just yet, but I think that it's out there on that video. So Eleanor's got a little friend here with us, and so let's introduce your friend, and then we'll go back to talking about hatching, okay?
This is Lollipop. On our last live, I talked about her, and now we have her.
Yep, this is Lollipop. Our house has been invaded once again by the elf on the shelf.
Yes.
Anybody out there have elves on the shelves? Elves on the shelves?
And we need to know what they do. Because this one did something this morning to me that made me feel my stomach did not feel good at school.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, if y'all do the elf on the shelf thing in your house, let us know sometime while we're hanging out tonight. One, what the name of your elf is, and two,
what your elf does.
yeah, what kind of stuff your elf gets up to.
I want to know what their elf does.
Well, tell them what Lollipop did last night or this morning.
I'll tell them. Well, we were surprised by this. We woke up morning, we did not go in my room, and what I did, I saw the fake elf, and I thought it was Lollipop, and it wasn't. It was her friend that is a fake elf that she hangs out with. So. And then I walked in my room, and I saw notes all over my tree.
Yeah, Lollipop decorated your tree with some sweet notes. Do you remember what any of them said?
Can I go get them?
Sure, you can go get them.
Can you hold Lollipop?
I will gladly hold Lollipop.
And she can hear us right now.
Oh my.
So she's watching.
Yes, we have had Lollipop for, I think this is our third year with Lollipop.
Yeah.
Is that right?
The last Christmas year, I got scared of her.
Yeah, last Christmas Eleanor got a little spooked with some of the Lollipop stuff, and I promise tonight's live is not all about Lollipop. We're just introducing her since she's our house guest for the upcoming holiday season.
Our house, by the way.
Eleanor says that Lollipop protects our house. So let's see who all is with us here tonight. We've got Cliff from Chicago. Howdy, Cliff. Sue from Orlando. You don't have to tell me where you're from. Let's see here. Christina is somewhere snowy. I'm sorry, Christina. I can't remember where you said you were from last time. Or the last couple times, really. But it's snowy there, and her signal isn't great. Miss Jackie. Hey there, Miss Jackie. And over on YouTube, we've got Nana's Little Loves from a very cold Minnesota. Jody from Sydney, Australia. Hey there.
I got everything I need.
Nicole from Oregon. And Vanita from West Virginia. Let's see
Okay,
here.
we have
Gloria
two
says
elves now.
she's from Virginia Beach. Christina, Seattle. That's right. So yes. So what do we have a name for this other guy? Now this one's just a regular elf toy, right?
Yeah, you can play with it.
And we like him because he's got all this houndstooth and red on him, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean, Eleanor? What is houndstooth and red for?
Alabama.
Alabama.
And we have hundreds of these. These are all her friends. Don't we have a lot?
I don't think so.
We have more than this one.
Yeah.
And one night we had them set it in my room and close to our tree. And remember, she when she came, she brought some of these. This one was probably in the stuff because she didn't get this one. I feel like she hung out. They had the same faces, so she hung out with the one. And I mean, she might have hanged out. I don't know how many she hanged out with. In the box, she comes with a box. This year, she came with none.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe her box is hidden somewhere around here.
I
Maybe we'll
looked all
find it
over the place.
with some treats from Santa in it later. So, okay, tell me, Eleanor, can you show them some of these notes that you got and tell them what they said? Eleanor read all of these notes all by herself. The last couple of weeks, Eleanor has been reading a lot. So we've been excited to see her do some special reading too. So Eleanor, tell us what your signs say that Lollipop left for you.
Can Lollipop read
The comments? So all right, we have Lollipop monitoring comments. She's going to be our moderator tonight.
We have another one, but it's a fake.
Yeah, I'm going to put him right over here, okay? All right, so can you read us your signs?
Merry Christmas, Eleanor.
And show it to him. Yep, that's what it says. Merry Christmas, Eleanor. All right, you can get another one. What does that one say?
I love you.
Good job.
This is all from Lollipop. I didn't expect this at all.
And these were all over your Christmas tree when Lollipop was in your Christmas tree, weren't they?
You
Uh-huh.
have been good.
Very good, Eleanor.
This is
We decided that have is a hard word because it has that, what's the E called on the end?
magic E.
It has a magic E, but it's not a magic E, right? What does a magic E do?
So it's supposed to make the A say its name. Oh, it's testing. Lollipop made this for me to test.
Maybe.
Maybe she's trying to see how much I do well.
So we decided have is a hard word, but I think now that she's got it, she's got it.
I think why it's shaped as a Santa bag,
Uh-huh.
I think she's saying I'll get stuff for Christmas.
Maybe. I hope so. I hope you've been good. What was that one?
Santa Claus, Santa sent me.
Very good, Eleanor.
She's supposed to be watching over me.
I'm
since
telling
I
y'all,
was-
she's getting better every day with reading. All right, what's that one say?
Let's have fun.
Good job.
I guess that's for the marshmallows.
What's that one shaped like?
A sweater.
A sweater.
Well,
All right, and the last one, what does it say?
be good. I think she's giving me. Look, you see this have fun. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
I think she has stuff planned to be fun. Because this morning she got marshmallows out for me and her to eat, and I ate too many.
Yeah.
She-
that happens.
I think tomorrow she's
if you've
gonna
got a
have
whole
chips.
bag of mini marshmallows and you're holding them, how are you not going to eat just a whole big handful of them, right? So that's kind of what you did this morning for breakfast, didn't you?
More happies left.
Here, sit up.
Yeah.
Oh, sit. Okay, so What happened last night? What was the weather like last night?
Well, can I tell them about?
No, tell them about the weather last night.
I want to tell them something I hope didn't happen. Well, it's something of the weather that I want to tell. I hope Lollipop got to the north safe and sound, and back here safe and sound.
Yeah. Well, I think she did. She's here. All right. So tell them what happened. What was the weather like last night?
It was thundery, tornado warnings.
Yeah.
Lots of tornadoes in the area. Lots of thunder. Lightning was almost on our porch. It looked like it. Was it close?
The lightning was very close. Yes.
Yes. It was like almost on our stairs.
Oh, Eleanor, Aunt Katie is watching it, and she says that Emmy is watching with her and says hello.
Hello.
You want to blow Emmy a kiss? Emmy is Eleanor's cousin, and she's so very sweet. So very sweet. Let's see here.
I gave her some of my baby stuff.
So yeah, the weather was really stormy last night. Did we get a lot of rain? Oh, we got a lot of rain. There was flash flooding in the area.
And also, when I woke up this morning, we hear thunder still.
Yep, there was still thunder going on early this morning.
Because somewhere is dead. Somewhere was night when we woke up, and that thunder was from a long distance.
Oh, okay.
That we heard.
Okay. Well, thunder can happen during the day too.
Maybe it was clearing up.
Yeah, it was clearing up, I think, by the time we got up. But so it rained a whole bunch. There was flash flooding in our area. Our pig pen wound up catching a bunch of debris off of the backside of the pig pen. The gate between the pig pen and the garden caught a bunch of like leaves and that sort of thing, pine needles, and so that showed us just how much water was running down that hill into the garden. And then some of the dirt in the garden kind of got washed out and got washed down to the bottom corner of the garden, but it's okay. Typically every couple of months I'll go through there with a shovel and I'll dig out some of that dirt that's washed down to the low corner of the garden in between the rows, and I'll take it up and put it somewhere where the dirt is kind of getting washed out some. So that's an easy fix, not a big deal. And somebody just walked in. Hello.
Hi. I just got it. I just made it home. That was a just got home and just made it home crossed together.
We were talking about
goodness.
the weather. Eleanor has introduced Lollipop to everybody.
Yeah.
And told everybody what Lollipop is up to.
We'll make space for you, sweet girl.
Yeah. Oh, I think she pinched her
Did you hurt your
finger.
finger? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You need me?
Okay,
look
Mama
at
to
it.
the rescue. But so the weather was pretty rough here, but it was not nearly as rough as it was in certain areas close by to us. We have been very fortunate when it comes to severe weather in our area. We haven't had much damage at all on this farm, and so it's hard to complain whenever you see that stuff happening around us. Jackie says it seems like the bad weather comes through your area, the Tuscaloosa area, and heads right up to my house in Montevallo. The worst came through here around 2:30 a.m. Yep, that's true. We're kind of right in Tornado Alley, and honestly, I've lived in Tornado Alley my entire life. For a while, I lived in Pickens County, Alabama, which is West Alabama. Almost, I call it sometimes might as well be Mississippi, Alabama, and that's how far west it is. But when I lived there, the local high school in Pickens County, their mascot is the tornado. So they're the Pickens County High School Tornadoes. So that just lets you know what sort of thing forms the culture around that area. It's severe weather and football. So those things were put together. And when I was little, I won't tell you how little I was because I'm going to tell you what year it was, and I don't want to make anybody feel bad. But in 1993, there was a bad series of tornadoes that came through on Palm Sunday, and several of the churches in East Alabama, right in our area. We were around the Piedmont area at that point. We had tornadoes that actually hit our church while we were in it and destroyed our church during worship that day. And so my entire life has been dodging severe weather, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon if we're right here in Tuscaloosa either. So yes, Miss Jackie, you are right. The weather always, it seems like it always curves and goes around us, our immediate area. But yeah, Tuscaloosa and the surrounding areas just kind of get rocked by tornadoes fairly often. And our local weatherman, or not so local, he's local to North Alabama, James Spann.
Central. It's the Birmingham network.
Okay, well, I think they carry all the way up to the state line of Tennessee, though. But anyways, James Spann.
Birmingham metro area.
James
I heard him
Spann,
say it like 15 times last night.
Yeah. Well, he has, I think I heard him say that something like, what is it, April to December is tornado season in Alabama?
December to April.
Okay. I was thinking that the not tornado season is like January, February, March, and then it ramps back up in April in the spring. I would think so, because that's whenever it's the coldest here, is January, February, March. But anyways, we have a long tornado season here.
We do.
And so
I just call it all year.
Yeah.
Because it could be February. We've had tornado warnings in February.
Yeah.
I can't think of any in January, but we had a Christmas Day. We mentioned it a couple of lives ago. We had a Christmas Day where we went to his family, and then we made it to my family's, and we had to go shelter in my grandparents' basement because there was a tornado warning, not a tornado, a tornado warning. Yeah. Warning means there is likely one on the ground. Mm-hmm. Watch just means there could be one that forms in the area. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it's wild. But I've never lived in another state, so even as much as I observe other states' weather, I don't know what it's like in other states, but I know that we're constantly thinking about it here. Yeah.
And the very first thing that we bought for the farm property was a storm shelter. Yeah,
we did not have a basement. We lived in a slab house at our last property, and we didn't have a storm shelter. We weren't too far from community shelters, and we had places we could go, but so often, just like last night, it's bad weather in the middle of the night, in the wee hours of the morning, and trying to get somewhere, short notice. It's much better just to be able to get to it. So now it's in the backyard, and it's part of the Silky Coop. Yep. If you watch our Silky Coop build video, part of that was where we placed the storm shelter. It needed to be on a concrete slab, and be able to have a foot on either side, on every side. And it needed to be at least 12 inches thick, the slab did. Mm-hmm. And so we had this perfect bare slab in the backyard, and I was like, this is where we're going to put the storm shelter. He had somewhere else in mind, but I wouldn't do it over and change anything. I like where it is, and we ended up turning the rest of that slab into the Silky Coop and covering up that ugly metal storm shelter.
Yeah, and also it helps to keep the storm shelter from deteriorating and rusting and that sort of thing.
It can be out in the weather, but there's kind of a lip on top of the storm shelter where water could collect and sit. So, we needed to cover it. It needed to be inside something. Yeah.
Well, and the reason that I brought up the weather was because we saw a transformation overnight of the pond.
Oh, yeah.
Our pond was down very, very low. I've mentioned it in a few videos in the last couple of months. It was down very low, probably 3 feet below where it normally is, or what we think of as normal. And last night, overnight, it rose about 2 feet. So we are excited, of course, for the pond to be filling back up, and it typically does that over the winter months anyways.
Right.
But
it was down lower this summer than it's ever been.
Yeah.
We got so little rain. We were in such long droughts. I mean, from right after spring. from right after spring until just like a month and a half ago or so. We got rain, like no significant rain collection amounts for months. There was a 6-week span with absolutely no rain at all, no precipitation, and it was dusty and dry. And when we were cutting grass, I mean, you really needed to wear a mask because there was so much dust. But now everything is very, very, very saturated.
Yeah, and it will be for the next couple months probably. We probably won't dry out. I'm very hopeful about our onions and garlic, but it is going to be a wet winter, it looks like, out there in the garden. And so I don't know how well they're going to do with staying so wet.
And I was out there this morning. I put some up on our Instagram and Facebook stories if you want to see some of the video from that. But we didn't have any damage. I was talking to Jason at Cog Hill this morning. We were checking up on our families, as we all always do. We're checking in with each other. And they didn't have any damage. And I said, we didn't have any damage either. Everything's good here. And then I started really walking around. And I saw how washed out the pigs got and the garden got. And it's happened in the summer, but it's so easy to forget as the grass starts dying. And places like where the pigs are, they root some, and there are some areas where there just isn't anything holding that dirt. And it covered the hose pipe.
Yeah, I was telling them about how it caught so much debris,
leaves
down on the bottom
and
side
dirt
of the pig pen.
And some hay. There was some hay in there where they've thrown it out of their house.
Well, and I mean, it stays saturated out there anyway. But when you get a really heavy rain like that, there's just nowhere for the water to go.
Well, it's
except
on a hill.
for downhill. And so, but to remind you how saturated our place stays a lot of the time, I have found crawfish at random times just walking in the pig pen. I'll be out in the pig pen,
which is one of the highest points, like out there.
Yeah, but it also is one of the areas that water runs through to get to the pond. So, so that area does get a lot of runoff water. So, but yeah, we wind up finding crawfish in the middle of the pig pen and in the middle of the pasture.
Well, and you can
area,
find the crawfish holes too, like walking around. If you ever see a hole with a little mound of dirt that goes up and around and it'll look like little bitty balls, it's where the crawfish, you'll see that on the beach with sand, but the crawfish do the same thing. They get all the minerals and nutrients out of the mud and they ball it up in little balls. You'll find those just walking around on our property. I mean, yards and yards from the pond. But it reminded me, here winter is here and it's cold right now outside, and with the bad weather, we're thankful and we're happy when it warms up, but we also know that as soon as we have a downturn in temperatures, that cold front's going to come through and we're going to have severe storms and potentially tornadoes. So that's always, we're like, yay, it's warm, but also we know that this is going to come to an end, and it's going to come to a rainy and windy end. But we're thankful for all of the weather, no matter what, and very thankful that the pond is back up, and it's still got several more feet to go.
Yeah, I think it can probably,
for where it usually is.
Well, I think it could probably go up another 2 feet. But also, you think of it kind of like a bowl. As you get higher, it also goes further out, and so it will take a little bit more to get that level up. And it is a runoff pond, so it naturally drops and rises depending on the weather, and so it's not constantly running off. Like, it does reach a point where it kind of levels out. But
like, it's not running off right now. The water isn't high enough for it to run off. We have a spillover dam, and then we also have a runoff pipe, a drain that if the water level reaches a certain point, it flows down into that pipe and then off into a ditch on the other side of our dam. But
typically it'll hit that pipe. It'll start going down in that pipe before it starts running off. There's a little spillway in one corner of the dam, and it runs off into a storm drain down that way. So
it's set up really, really well, and we didn't do any of that.
Yeah,
we didn't do that.
That's one of those things that when you buy property, there's really only so much you can know about the property.
Yeah.
Especially if it's property that you've never been on until you go out to look at it to see if you want to buy it. And so there are so many things. There are inevitably going to be things that don't work out the way you'd like them to, but there have been so many things that really wound up being big bonuses for us. And the way that the pond is constructed is definitely one of those things.
Definitely.
It really is great.
They spent a lot of time and money and effort getting that right. And I love our pond because I was telling Tracy this, because that's something in their future that they want to do on their property. They have their creek. Tracy and Jean at Just Dig It Farms is who I'm talking about.
And their property is
gorgeous, but they want to be able to have a pond, which makes sense because their water that moves through their property is moving all the time. But I was telling her what I really love about our pond is our land slopes into the pond. We don't really, on the opposite side, on the far side of the pond, there are some drop-offs where it is steep, but we don't hang out on that side of the pond. We have a very nice rolling slope into the pond. It makes
descent.
And that's something, if it wasn't that way, with us moving here, with having Eleanor, we wouldn't have purchased this property. If the pond was, I was already afraid of her being around the pond, and we were extra careful.
Well, with it being a runoff pond, there is some erosion that goes on, and so the erosion, so it grades down like this, and as the water goes up and down here and gets pulled down towards the dam, it does start creating a little bit more of a drop off. But if you get it nice and full, then a lot of times it'll kind of slope out. So we got a few questions out there that I want to hit before we jump into anything else.
Miss Jackie's got one I want to answer.
Well, let's do. Okay, so Susan said, "Do you ever eat the crawfish?" We don't eat the crawfish out of the yard that we find. That's not
you
saying.
Could.
Yeah,
you
I'm
could.
not saying that I wouldn't. It's just that we don't. We do eat crawfish from time to time.
Those stay for the bass.
Yeah.
For the bass, and then we have some massive brim panfish in our pond.
There's several of those big old brim that could eat crawfish.
Yeah.
But
shell crackers.
Yes, we eat crawfish most of the time. That's something we get to do in the summertime. Crawfish. Well, Eleanor and I eat crawfish.
Yes, there you go.
They're most plentiful in the summertime around here. Folks will set up stands. They'll go out to a crawfish farm and pick up several bags of them.
We could put a trap in the pond.
Yeah, we could.
But we would probably have enough for like one person to have an appetizer.
Yeah, for us it's more important to keep the ecosystem in the pond going. Now we could take a short trip over to the river and put something in out there and maybe catch some. But yeah, that we would eat. I would eat crawfish if we had an overabundance of them here.
Yeah, doing a crawfish bowl is a summer tradition with most of our friends. So we go to them, and he eats the crawfish, and I enjoy the good Cajun red potatoes and corn. And I'm trying to think what else. I think that's it. It's just red potatoes and corn in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to have beer with crawfish, right?
Yeah, that too.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to, but I like to sometimes.
Miss Jackie had a question, and she said, have you posted a recent video on the eggs that are in the incubator? And we did. We put one out on Monday. It's Eleanor and I talking through how we candle our eggs, when we candle our eggs. And candling is when you shine a light against the eggshell and it lights up the egg where you can kind of see what's happening inside. And we candled all of our eggs, and they are set to start hatching probably Sunday and Monday. And we plan to go live and let you guys participate in seeing how those baby chicks hatch. And I'm sure we'll film it and put out a video as well. But we're really excited for that.
Yeah. While we're addressing Miss Jackie's question, let's also say thank you to Miss Jackie and Mr. Bill for your support over on Facebook with stars. Thank you very much. All that stuff winds up going straight back to the farm.
Yes. And Lynn says she likes your shirt.
Thank you. I like it too.
I'll add it to our Amazon shop because I love it. I bought it for him. Bought it for him before we went on vacation, but he's been wearing it a lot, so I think he might like it too.
Yeah, I don't wear the typical one color shirts most of the time. You may see me wearing like a plain, like a fishing shirt that is one color. But most of the time I've got designs on my shirt.
He's got some with like tiny dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, paper airplanes.
Sushi. Used to have hot air balloons.
Yeah, hot air balloons.
I think your clothing should reflect your personality, and that's something when we were in college, I took him shopping and I said, I want you to try on clothes. Because I feel like this happens with guys a lot. But you just get in the rut of like picking out the same thing. Like I wear Arizona jeans, Puma shoes, and polos. Like that's it. That was kind of his, and cargo shorts. I wore a lot of cargo shorts. He wore khaki cargo shorts always, and they were kind of long. But he has developed his style, and your suit style I really like.
Yeah, I had a job for a little while that I felt compelled to dress up for. And so I would wear nice pants, slacks, maybe a suit.
But you would express yourself with your ties.
Yeah, and so and for a while I was tying fancy knots and everything that were different shapes, and then I would have a pocket square most of the time, and a tie clip.
Very
I like
snazzy.
But
his tie clips he like customized.
Yeah,
you got like Star Wars tie clips, and
so
you made them yourself.
Yeah, I would buy the plain silver looking tie clips, and then I would like glue on these little
like charms, little metal charms. And they looked really great.
Yeah,
though.
So stuff like coffee cups, and for a while Eleanor was really into the Minions, and so I had a couple of Minion tie clips and a baseball one and that sort of thing. So yeah, I liked that. It's just and maybe I would do that more. Honestly,
that was a lot of effort.
Lockdown shut it down though.
It was a lot of effort.
The thing is I was used to getting up every morning, getting ready, wearing something nice and going to work. And then when we started working from home, because we wound up working from home for almost a year before we went back into our offices. And so during that time, I didn't have to get up and get ready. So most of the time I didn't have to get up. So
I mean, it was the truth, and it was wonderful. We say all the time 2020 was a rough year, and it was a rough year for many, many people, but for us it was our first full year here on the farm, and we got really, really spoiled because we just got to spend time together as a family, the three of us. And in what situation, I mean, that is a very unique blessing to get to be all together with your child as a couple. I mean,
and I was talking to a friend of ours at church on Sunday, and I was telling him, I thought, we say that there are things that happen with every generation that kind of they shift like the paradigm. Yeah, it's like a defining period of time for a generation, and I think our generation has had multiple of those. I mean, all the way back to like 9/11 when we were younger. And then, because we were both in elementary school, sorry, I'll tip my
we've been
age
through
there,
some huge shifts,
and then
in thinking and in processes and in just how daily life works. And I love something that I've witnessed, and I'm sure y'all have too, since you watch homesteaders and farmers and YouTube farmers. There's this huge shift back to basics and back to some core activities. It's not even necessarily core values. A lot of these people had, and us included, we've always had the values incorporated into our lives, but being able to make bread from scratch and take the time to do things slow and grow and harvest your own protein for your family. There's a ton of that shift as well that 2020 has brought, that slowness. And for us, we've been ramping back up into the full-time craziness for 2 years now. For 2 years now. And that has been something that we have to constantly evaluate. You know, it matters what you include in your life, and it matters what you're doing with your life, and we're always evaluating that. But God has changed our life so much in the last year. It's wild. I spoke about it some, and so did Zach at the Gulf Coast Homesteaders meetup, just how drastically the people that are involved in our daily lives have changed. And we're very close with our families and everything, but we have added so many wonderful, wonderful people to our immediate circles and support systems. It has been awesome what YouTube and just the community has brought us.
Yeah, it absolutely is insane. I mean, just a year ago, there's no way that we could have imagined having the support system and
I'm gonna go let Lady out.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
The friends that we have that are like family now, the folks that we lean on. Just a second ago, Les over on Facebook said, I know you folks help other farm channels with many things. We do, and we get a lot of help and support from those other folks. We just really are so blessed with this network of farms and just good folks. And it just so happens that so many of us do this YouTube and Facebook thing now. And a lot of that is because we've been inspired by those good folks. And I think everybody in our group would say that they've been inspired by the folks at Cog Hill to put that joy out there.
Well, it's not even just inspired, it's encouraged.
Yeah.
Like personal encouragement.
Yeah.
And support.
We never would have done YouTube or Facebook at the way that we're doing it now.
But it is interesting. So I got really motivated when we moved to the farm to start documenting, and I feel like every family has a documentarian. Like you've got somebody in your family that's always got a camera out at family gatherings, and they're taking pictures of everybody, and maybe they make notes or do a scrapbook of the get together. I feel like every family's got a documentarian or a few, Somebody's always videoing or taking pictures, and I am that person, and I probably annoy my family. not this family. I don't think I annoy them with that, but with my family, I'm like, we've got to take a picture. We've all got to get together. Let's take a picture of everybody that's here. But it's because my memory is not stellar already. I'm in my 30s and my memory is not great. But it's always been that way. And so photos they're my memories, and they're how I can connect with those people that I care about as well, sharing those memories. But I started filming things, like detailed filming things, when we moved to the farm. And like just us as a family, Eleanor coloring, 2020 had a lot to do with that as well. But I really started documenting, and I made home movies. I was making home movies of us. Yeah. And so, and we've had experience with videography and photography for years and years. So it wasn't a huge jump. We weren't having to learn we've learned a ton, because applying those skills, even if you can be an expert in something, and applying those skills in a specific way is still a challenge. But we weren't necessarily starting from scratch. But when we got that push and that encouragement of, you can do this.
The tech learning curve wasn't as big.
Yeah, the tech learning curve wasn't there.
That's a big thing for a lot of folks, especially folks that have skill sets that lend themselves to farming and homesteading and that sort of thing, gardening. They often have difficulty with the IT, the tech part of it, the computer part of it. And thankfully, we feel like we've been given the opportunity now, just as those people have helped us with our farming stuff and all of that. Now we feel excited that we're getting to help empower some of those folks to reach a broader audience.
That's what we both love.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to cut you off.
Yeah,
but that's what we both love.
People.
If anybody, I know that there are some of you on here that have met us in person, but we will talk and talk and talk and continue answering questions. And I saw some comments on Facebook that it said, I know you guys help a lot of other farmer channels.
Yeah, I said that.
And that,
yeah.
oh, okay, you said that already. I'm sorry.
No,
but that is something that we really love and enjoy doing, and we have a business where we do that. On our website, we've got a media and a web consulting form. So we are very busy right now. We have been very, very, very blessed in the web clients that we have been onboarding and working with. But I try to answer, I do answer every email that we get through that consulting form, and I'm always happy to help in any way I can, and so is Zach. But that is a business for us, and it is something that also allows us to do what we love with our farm and our animals.
Yeah, without the revenue of our kind of freelance web work and what ultimately has become web work centered around farms and YouTube and Facebook and other social media platforms, that web work has provided for us to be able to continue on with moving towards kind of a more farming lifestyle, or it gives us that motivation and those resources to continue learning. And we're both so very passionate about learning, just as passionate about teaching as well. And so this kind of gets to be that perfect space for us to do all of that together.
And I described it recently. I feel like I'm always in a place because I have so many passions, and so do you. And somebody told me recently, they were like, you have full-time jobs, and you have a farm, and you have a business, and you're doing YouTube and social media. I'm like, yeah, we're doing all of that.
And you throw in church there.
And church, yes. Well, I was including that with you.
Yeah.
Okay, you can play that.
Eleanor, will you
Eleanor's
please let the
playing
dog
some
in?
games. Yeah, will you let Lady in, honey?
Thanks,
you.
sweetheart.
There's too many noises in here that scares me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So that's why we're...
Yeah, Eleanor
Okay,
said
go open.
that we're a little loud for her right
Yeah.
now. So
Oh, it's the noises in here.
let's see here.
Okay,
If I hear something...
that sounds good. Somebody asked this. Let's see. Les Cox said, "Didn't you put together the Cog Hill calendar?" I did, and I work for Cog Hill, and I absolutely love everything I get to do for them and be creative and support their farm, and they support us in return, and they are wonderful friends of ours now. Very intertwined, and have wonderful relationships with them. But that is how our lives have changed in the last year. I feel like it's been a constant. I'm always saying, even now, what do I want to do? What do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to be when I grow up? And I don't think there's an age at which you have to stop saying that.
Well, Miss Jackie reminded us a minute ago after I said the 9/11 thing that we're babies.
Will you help her open
That's
the door?
true. We're pretty young.
Eleanor can't get the door open to let the dog in. Our doors can be a pain sometimes. And it's cold, so lady is not happy. She's going to town on the back door. God has continued to just like take the things that we love and mesh them together. And it is absolutely wonderful to experience and to see. Hey, lady. Hey, lady. And yes, we're enjoying everything that we get to do. Everything. And I say get to do because a lot of it is choice, but we are just blessed in what we get to do.
And there are, so with the creativity that Jacqueline has, there's only so much of her talents that can be expressed at our full-time jobs, the jobs that we have. And one thing that I have loved is all of our farm stuff has made it where her creativity and technical prowess really gets shown and gets utilized in ways that it didn't before. And so that's been something that I've been really excited about and just super proud of her. She has done amazing things and continues to
Thank you.
Yeah, and so
I know he tells me all the time that he's proud of me, and I'm very proud of him.
Really am.
We both work very hard, and we both recognize that in each other. And we've been together for 14 years now.
Something like that.
Yeah, we've been together for 14 years. We've been married we just hit 8.
Just
had our 8-year wedding anniversary. And Eleanor is 6 and has been the pride of our lives so far.
Yeah, I told somebody the other day said they just complimented us on our parenting and said that we were doing a good job. And I said, thank you. And I said, the big thing with Eleanor is that we feel like Eleanor is our calling at this stage in our life, and she is the most important thing about our life in terms of how we should set things up in our lives, and she has to be in that top priority slot.
Well, being parents that's what we wanted to be.
Yeah,
That's what we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to be.
Ever since I was little, probably 7 or 8 years old, you ask kids, it's kind of the habitual thing that our culture asks children, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like Jacqueline was saying a minute ago, what do you want to be when you grow up? At like 7 or 8 years old, I started answering that with, I want to be a dad. I want to be a daddy. I want to be a good, and then that got added in later on. I want to be a good dad, and I want to be all of those things that kind of go with that family structure. And I don't think that you have to be in a traditional style family for that to work out. Yeah. But that was important to me, the being a dad, and same thing with Jacqueline. Yeah. And that's another thing I'm very proud of Jacqueline of. She's a fantastic mother, and that's something that we get to do together that we love doing, and have a little bit longer to do it.
And when Eleanor's not with us, it takes us about a day before we settle back out of, and I know this happens to like every parent out there pretty much, that when their child is away from them, it takes you like a little bit to relax and like be like, okay, my identity is still here, I'm still me, and I love that my identity is so much wrapped up in hers and yours too, but we can remember how fun we are.
Yeah.
We remember how fun we are when we have like about 24 hours away from Eleanor. I'm like, yeah, and what y'all get to see with Zach is he jokes all the time. He sings all the time. Y'all haven't experienced much of the singing at all in our videos or in shorts or anything. But he is a big personality, a very fun and happy person. The dancing videos, I know everybody's like, oh, you need to challenge Jason at Cog Hill or Lester at I'm a Survivor. That's just Zach. That's 100% just him. It is just about 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on the week, that I wake up and there's music blasting in the kitchen and he's dancing around and I'm just waking up. With Eleanor, yeah. Eleanor's playing a game over here. We got some, with all the sales this week, we picked up some games at Walmart last night.
So we'll be playing. Eleanor loves to play board games and that sort of thing. So those wind up being the presents that last the longest in our house and that get played with the longest in our house. Our board games. And so Eleanor has been working on getting 2 of our board games that she just got ready to be played later on. She had to get them out of the box and unwrap everything.
Your feet are cold.
So
I don't want your kisses. I love you, but I don't want your kisses.
Okay, Eleanor says that she's learning how to play the games too.
Lady, will you sit right here? She won't sit. Yes, Lady. I feel like the kindergartner that was on the Zoom call with their kindergarten class during COVID. we had some friends that were kindergarten teachers, and when all the kids had to go remote and do remote learning, they said it was like this huge thing that every kid that had an animal, a pet in their house, they would be like, here's my dog. Here's my dog. And then the next kid would be like, oh, I gotta get my cat. I have a cat.
That's better than the naked parent walking behind them, right? And not realizing that their kid is...
I just kind of realized that's kind of our whole YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Here, look at my animal. Look at my animal. Look at my pets.
Yeah, that's how we spend all of our time anyway.
I didn't think about that.
Let's see here.
Lady is just so tiny, and I don't think people know how tiny she is.
Yeah,
I was trying to show her
super
face.
small.
She's got all this hair, but her little face is so small.
When she gets a haircut, you can see
thing.
how small she is.
It's the smallest thing you can kind of see. You can kind of see, I'm so little.
She's my birthday.
I'm so little. With this rain, you need a bath.
Yeah,
I'm
Eleanor
cuddling a
is
stinky
reminding
thing.
us that Lady was her birthday present a couple of years ago. She's right. So Rita said over on Facebook, great parents. I just love how attentive you are to her. She's so blessed to have such lovely parents. Keep doing you. Just love yous. Thank you. But we do have to be real and say that we're not all the time as good as we'd like to be, and that's important. Like, we recognize our shortcomings and own them and step into them. And so that, especially that attentive piece, as attentive as we are, we both recognize a lot that we want to
work.
spend
We work
more
on the
time.
computer a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And our phones. We work on our phones a ton.
Yeah.
And there's a balance to all of that. She is a very good independent player, like she is right now, over here, totally by herself playing board games. She's playing board games. She has a whole playroom full of toys and things that she can do and crafts and stuff. But there are times where she has to be totally self-sufficient, and she is. I think that's part of being an only child.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that is actually that throughout her life, she's been given the prerogative and the ability to lead the play that we do.
Yeah.
We give her the leadership role in a lot of the play and whatever work that we also can do when we're working as a family around the farm. And so giving her that makes her secure enough and equipped enough with those with that mindset to where she can do that. She can experiment with play by herself. She can continue to play.
Well, like her with the animals, a lot of people have always, even in our immediate in-person lives, have remarked how gentle she is with animals. And that is something, I've always said be gentle, don't squeeze, that kind of stuff. But I have pictures and videos before we moved to the farm. I used to get baby chicks every spring for Easter to do photo shoots with people's children and things like that for Easter photos. And then I would give those chicks to a friend who had a farm, and they would raise them. But I've got pictures of Eleanor at 18 months old, and she's sitting in her little chair, and she's holding the baby chicks. And I wasn't worried in the least. I didn't think for a second, she's going to be, she's going to grab it and squeeze it, or she's going to not, throw it down when she's done. She has just always had a very, very tender spirit, a very tender and sweet and gentle spirit. And then we've got some nephews that my mind would automatically go to, okay, I'm going to hold it, and you're going to put out 2 fingers, and you're going to pet its head. Some kids are, everybody is different, but her spirit has always been that way.
He knows not, he's 5 right now.
He's learning, yes. Eleanor said her cousins are learning, and that's,
And Hudson, so Eli is not the youngest, he's the bravest.
You need me to open that.
So Eleanor is telling us which of her boy cousins are good at what things and what good.
Eli is the best at holding chickens, and Hudson and Hayden, I don't think.
Eleanor has so many cousins now.
Yes, I got a feeling it's not stopping.
Oh no, it's not stopping, which is awesome because I come from a big family with a lot of cousins. All right, you're gonna need to take that in there because it's loud.
Nana's Little Loves over
that
on
in there?
YouTube asked,
Do you need help?
are you going to have any more kids? We'll see. It's one
If
of those
we're meant
things that's the way we've kind of always felt about
this goes
it.
on
Is
the truck.
We'll see what God has in store. That's the way we felt about it after Eleanor came along.
Yeah.
Well, this is what God had in store for us this time. We'll see the rest. So we'll see how it goes. It's that's not one of those things that we feel like it absolutely has to happen or it can't happen or anything like that. We're very go with the flow.
Yes. We are very chill.
Yeah.
I'm not chill. I'm not chill. I can be very, very relaxed and very chill, but I am a doer. I get things done, and Zach is the wonderful reminder all of the time that I should rest more and that I should slow down. And I have learned to say no. I'm better about saying no, and I'm a little bit better about taking care of myself. But I've got to be good for everybody else to be good as well.
The stage of life that we're in right now is still learning is a big part of that. And honestly, I hope learning is always a big part of our lives.
I think it will be.
But I think that when it comes to, figuring out balance, when it comes to stress and work versus rest and that sort of thing. And so that's another great thing that the farm has given us is the ability to find that balance, because sometimes it is super stressful living where you also do all the work for your hobby.
You have an eyelash.
I have an eyelash.
And it's bugging me. Okay, now it's gone. I wish it's gone.
We constantly have projects.
And there's a lot. So we put out, it's been a month. It's been at least a month. We put out a video about phase 1 of setting up our Cerama coop.
It's been well over a month.
It has. And those are the types of things that I get a little stressed about, that nag in the back of my mind, that I'm like, this has got to get done. I just told Tracy that I'm getting one of those giant notepads from Office Depot that goes on the wall. That you, like, school teachers have them, and you like tear a whole page off. But I'm going to have one of those, and it's going to be in the office, and it's going to have my giant running list of things that need to get done, and that this is stressing him out as I talk about it. I'm sorry. But I need a visual to remind me in my downtime, or to prioritize physical things that I need to accomplish for us on the farm. Yeah. And so much of it is weather prohibitive. Like we're going to tell y'all what we're getting this week, I think.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Okay. We are getting an animal this week, which y'all kind of already knew about. But there is just so many things. Like, we had the cold snap, the super, super cold snap, right after Eleanor and I put the playhouse together for the Ceramas, and we were about to start enclosing it and fully building out the inside with roosting bars, and it's going to have a tray where we can put sand, where Eleanor can be responsible for cleaning up droppings, and it's going to be her chicken coop to take care of. And we just had that super cold snap where we were going down in the 20s in the evening, and it gets dark early. So those things have been nagging in the back of my mind that it's not done. And we had this big push to get that done, but the Ceramas are in our Avitavin coop. They're a company we worked with earlier this year, and we raised our ducklings and our baby geese, our goslings, in our Avitavin coop, and we put the Ceramas in it, and it's the perfect size for them. And so they're super happy and very well protected in that. So that kind of took away the motivation and the rush to work extra to get that project done. But I feel bad because we're going to do that. We were just talking about it yesterday, of where we're going to situate that and make it really pretty with some flowers, a bunch of zinnias around it and everything. But it's going to go over by our fig tree, which is going to be beautiful. But we're going to get to that. Yeah. But I feel bad. We've said that YouTube, Facebook, making videos is kind of our accountability system for getting things done here on the farm in a more timely manner.
We've always got a lot of irons in the fire. So stuff that we've put in the fire and we're ready to get it out and work on it a little bit, and then we put it back in. Yeah. So we do that, and honestly, I don't know that that's a bad thing.
I don't think it is.
We very, very seldom just get tired of any one thing here on the farm. And I think it's because we're constantly rotating what we're working on and what we're focusing on. But yeah, let's go ahead and switch to some talk about the animals, because we have a few things to hit on the animal front.
Are we sharing that thing tonight, or are we going to wait until we have it better together?
Well, I mean, we can talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
But so first, we talked a little while ago about how the weather last night affected the garden, but we didn't hit why it really wasn't that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know where you were going.
The garden took some washing. So I mentioned that the onions, we're not really sure how that's going to go, but I'm cautiously optimistic about that. I noticed today that almost all of the garlic that I planted has sprouted.
Yeah, I saw
Almost
that.
all of it is peeking out of the ground, which I had no idea. I was expecting like maybe half of what I planted to sprout, because I experimented with getting seed garlic, just using organic garlic from the grocery store. And so far so good. It has sprouted even in the middle of all this cold, damp weather. So those have sprouted. So the onions and the garlic look good, but something is wrong with the latch on our garden gate. I don't know what it is. I'm not willing to take the fall for this. I'm just not.
Come on.
So it was raining one day last week. I guess was it this weekend, this past weekend maybe? I don't know. It was raining, and
I had to go somewhere last. Oh, it was last Tuesday. No. Gosh, now I don't remember.
Anyways, one day this week it was raining, and Jacqueline came over to me. I was sitting down on the couch and had just sat down. Maybe it was Sunday, because Sunday I would have been really tired. But no, it wasn't. Anyways, it was raining. I looked out. Jacqueline said, "There's chickens in the garden, and the fence and the gate is wide open."
The gate's standing wide open. Same story as last time.
Y'all, every single leaf from my brassicas, which that's my broccoli. I had 2 rows of broccoli, 2 rows of cauliflower, a row of collard greens, a row of Brussels sprouts. Oh, and there it seems like there was something else, but all of it, every bit of it is eaten down to these little tiny green twigs. Yeah, and so I texted Jason from Cog Hill and Wes from Big Family Small Farm, and I was like, what do I
do now?
I just told him, hey, the chickens got my stuff again, and I'm ready to have a grill off of some sort. And they said leave them for a while and see if they wind up springing back. I don't think they're going to spring back. I didn't send them any pictures. It's a lot worse than maybe I made it sound.
I was trying to airdrop this one.
So,
I was going to let you show them a clip.
Oh, okay.
Does it take a long time to cue that up?
No. Okay. I just pull it right over. I have it set up.
So we've got a clip of me finding like the washed out garden this morning. And the washing is not that bad, but you can see how there's not any plants.
Yeah, we'll pull that up real quick.
It is winter.
It is. You can see right there.
For us, maybe fall, but it's winter. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about
y'all can hear
our ground washing. Look at this. We had flash flooding last night. This is the garden. Here's the corner of the garden. Look at all of the dirt that pushed this way. That's one reason Zach does these mounded rows, but y'all, the garden it's not good. We've got garlic and onions over there, but I think that's just about all we're going to have, other than what he directs seeds. Look at this washing. All the way to the corner. And then out. Down the ditch. Yep. Miss Sue said everyone loves greens. Those are healthy chickens.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. They spotted the best thing around.
So what I've done is I decided I'm going to take one thing that I know grows really fast and that we will definitely get at least a little bit of, that we love to eat. So I ordered some some baby leaf lettuce
Oh, yeah.
mix that we loved.
We
spring
grew
and
it in our
summer.
green stalk.
We
this
grew
spring.
it in the green stalk until it got so hot that it couldn't grow
Yeah, it was
anymore.
bitter.
And it was so good. So I'm gonna put some of that out and see what happens. Lettuce seed that's not pelleted is not all that expensive, so I was like, we'll give it a shot. If something comes up, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Also have some tatsoi greens that you can kind of use in the place of a like a collard green or something like that, turnip green, and we'll see. Those grow super fast, and we'll see if we get any of that as well. So I'm going to put that out. They should be here in the mail probably tomorrow.
Awesome.
And so I'll get that out in the garden after I dig up and move some dirt.
Yeah, I've got to get on some things. So, what else do you want to say about the garden?
Well, I didn't have anything else about the garden. I was trying to think of anything else about animals that needed to be shared. Everybody was good with the storm. Somebody said earlier, I bet the critters were tickled with the
rain.
With the rain.
The ducks were super happy, but
yeah.
I'll tell y'all, the wind and the lightning.
Yeah.
The lightning was so loud the whole time. I mean, I was up until midnight, and then I was up again from like 1:30 to 2:30, and then I was up again at about 4 a.m. Because the lightning was just so loud and right on top of us, which is pretty common for us. She could hardly hear it. Eleanor slept fine.
Yeah.
I did not.
I turned on some white noise for Eleanor to try and help her not hear the thunder as much.
I was concerned for our friends too. I see Chestnut Hills is on here now. I was concerned for our friends that are out south of Clanton, between Clanton and Selma, and all in that area. And Tracy and Jean at Just Dig It Farms, the tornado that went through close to them was very close to them, and thankfully they were awake, and I got a response from her, but I was texting her at like 2 a.m. and I was like, there is a tornado coming towards you. Like, I need y'all to be awake and respond to me because I'm worried. But the animals were tired this morning. They were tired. The geese were tired. They weren't honking as loudly and running at me. They also had full bellies, so everybody was very, very well fed yesterday before all of this crazy weather came in. So they weren't coming after us for morning food, but they were tired. They're moving a little bit slower than usual, which I was too.
Yeah. I fully expected to go outside and see either some limbs on animal stuff or a chicken run blown over or something like that.
Yeah.
Real quick, Nana's little loves on YouTube said maybe you might want to have a raised bed garden instead of on the ground and put in a French drain for all the water. We do plan on doing some dirt work in the next few months, maybe a little bit longer. Things keep getting pushed back because we have more urgent things to work on. But also in the garden, if you've watched a video of me in the garden recently, you've heard me talk about how I used raised rows in the garden, and this is one of the main
That was
reasons.
in that clip.
Yeah,
that we just played.
So I use those raised rows so that I can control the water, and so that is probably the only reason that some of those onions and garlic didn't completely get washed out last night. If all of it was on the same level, then I could see that whole top layer being taken away. But because we use those raised beds, the water actually raised rows. The water has that area between the rows that it can go through, and that's the dirt you wind up seeing get washed away. So
the way our property is situated, the pond is the low spot, of course, because it's the runoff pond, but there's higher ground back behind the pigs and on our neighbor's property, and they have an orchard, and they kind of have the water on their property running into the orchard and down a ditch and straight onto our property, which, I mean, they don't have any other option. That's just the way that it is. And so there is a drainage ditch that kind of drains into where the pigs are now, which then is draining down into the garden. So we plan to, and it would have been awesome if we could have done it when we had all of the really, really, really dry weather, because the ground has to be very dry for us to do it. But my grandfather has a skid steer. I may have talked about this on the last live, and now I can't remember. But he has a skid steer, and we're going to do some grading in different areas. But the rate at which it was raining last night, it was flash flooding. I mean, it was flash flooding, and we maybe get rain like that 4 times a year. And at those points that's when it's coming so hard off their property and getting into that drainage ditch. And once it hits the pig pen, I mean, it just washes. Mm-hmm. And that's what it did. It washed all of the leaves and the sticks and the hay and the mud, anything loose against the garden and pig fence. And then that water rushed through the garden. And it doesn't rush to the whole garden. It's just like the last 3 rows. And that's where our tomatoes were this year. But it didn't cause any trouble with anything through the spring and summer. But during the winter, it may be a little bit more saturated. Yeah. But we've mitigated it for now. But I don't know if we can dig a trench and grade it enough to really impact when it flash floods.
They're probably not, and it really doesn't mess things up so bad that it just has to be done.
It's just soppy.
It's
muddy and dirty,
it does make it where I have to do, like, so if I go out there to plant the seeds that I want to, because I just want to I'm going to direct sow these quick growing greens out there. And so to direct sow, I really need it to be kind of dry. And so I'll have to go out there and turn over some of those rows and lay out some of that dirt and let it dry one day, let it dry a little bit more, and then use that dirt that's kind of dried from the sun up on top of it. But overall,
the ground dries out pretty quick in the garden too, because it's in full sun.
Yeah, it just depends. It really does with how much direct sun exposure. If it's cloudy and stuff like that, then it doesn't.
I saw Andale Homestead is in here on Facebook. Hi, Miss Ann. We got to meet Miss Ann at the Gulf Coast Homesteaders Meetup. If you aren't following her channel, she puts out really wonderful inspiration just about every day.
And y'all folks that were talking about me dancing need to go check out Miss Ann dancing.
Yes.
But yeah, so all that to say, the washing isn't as bad in the garden as it could be. It really doesn't mess it up too bad.
It's not washing our plants out.
And it's because I do those raised rows. Yeah. And so Nana, you're right. Those raised beds would be good. Let's see here. Scared that the pigs would get washed up. It's not like that. It's not.
There's not standing. It's not like standing deep water rushing. I mean, it's just like, surface ground washing, and they're not in a position where they could wash away. I mean, they're huge compared to the
super strong.
I made it sound really dramatic. That was probably my fault. I made it sound more dramatic than what it is. When the water comes down that hill, it's gonna push anything that's just sitting on top of the ground against the fence, and you can't. Water is one of the most forceful things. Like you can't stop it. It's gonna find the lowest point and it's gonna keep going towards it.
So you don't have to worry about that.
The pigs are safe.
Even if the pigs were laying down on the ground, it wouldn't be high enough on them. It really is.
Do you want to show? I put the pig pen clip in here, where you can see what it did in the pig pen. There's this video. That one. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put this up.
Quiet. The flash flooding has done a number on the pig pen. Look, it pushed it up against the garden fence. That was our hose pipe that was just in grass yesterday, and it has buried our electric fence wire. Not good. Peanut has decided to play in the dirt. Peanut, what are you doing? pigs don't mind the mud. I mind the mud. Yeah, so you can see it's not as dramatic as what I made it sound. And the standing water there is the wallow that they made this spring and summer after we moved them off the garden plot, after they tilled the garden plot for us and we moved them to their new pen. They made that wallow, and that wallow is over a foot deep, and it's full. So it wasn't dangerous for the pigs, and they have a raised house to get in, so their house doesn't get wet at all.
Yep, that's been one good thing about those the goat totes that we showed y'all. And the first one that we made was for the pigs, and they are raised up off the ground a good bit, and also the door for the pigs enclosure is facing away from the hill. It's facing down the hill, so no water can get in there.
And it's facing away from how our rain usually blows.
Yeah. So they're good. I appreciate the concern though. Oh, Tracy's here. Hey, Tracy.
Oh, hey, Tracy. I talked about y'all earlier and me texting you in the middle of the night to make sure that you were awake and could take cover if you needed to.
Yeah. Miss Sue said that if she lived closer, she'd help us with the dirt work. We know you would, Miss Sue.
You were so sweet, Miss Sue.
We do have something big to talk about that we don't want to run out of time.
But I want to share one thing super, super fast. Tracy's on here, and y'all, Tracy and I have both been really busy. We went on a road trip. We had a stellar time. We had so much fun together. We had some shenanigans that we got into, but we had a great time together, and we're both going to have videos coming out on our respective channels about our road trip, and I think that's coming out this week. It may be coming out next week. Tracy, you should chime in and tell me. Because we're trying to coordinate, so that we can put them out around the same time. But we had such a great time in Georgia, and what we have to tell y'all about has a lot to do with why I went. Well, I went because my friend asked me to go with her, but I also went because I went to learn about milking goats and about making goat cheese and just different ways that we could use goat's milk for ourselves on our farm. And you want to tell them why I went to learn that?
You're on a roll. Tell them.
I'm on a roll. Well, do you want to tell them?
You want to tell them, Eleanor? Why is it important for Mommy to learn about milking goats, or us to learn about it?
You want to get down?
Oh yeah, she's fading.
We're almost. It's time for us to get off here, but we want to share with y'all.
I want to tell him some knock-knock jokes.
Not right now. No knock-knock jokes right now. We are getting a new goat this week, and we've been leading up to this for over a month, and I said that we would only get babies that we could raise here, not bottle babies, but just baby goats. We would always get babies, not grown goats. But I'm eating my words because the same person that we got honey from contacted me and said, I'm going to get out of having Nubians. She wants to go with all of the Nigerian and smaller goats and doesn't want to keep Nubians anymore. So we are actually getting Honey's mother. It is Honey's biological mother from the same farm, and she is going to come to us already bred to a Nubian buck. And so Jennifer, the farmer that we're getting the goat from, she has the exact date and will be able to tell me, when we can expect kidding. But we're going to have baby goats on the farm in the spring. And something else wild about this goat is she has had 2 kiddings. And you call that something else. It's not just, maybe it's just kiddings. But she's had 2 kiddings, and both times she has had triplet all girls. So she's had 6 female babies. So we're expecting twins to triplets from her. And I said, of course, she's going to get to us, and she's probably going to have all boys. Yeah. She's probably going to have all boys.
One buckling.
Yeah.
So we've got our fingers crossed for multiples, and for the multiples to be female, because we cannot keep an intact buck
we are not keeping in it. We could, but we are not going to keep
a decision that we've made.
Yeah.
because it limits our breeding ability, and two, it also makes it where we have to keep the bucks separate.
Yeah.
So we do have the two boys, Biscuit and Gravy, but they're wethers, which means that they've been fixed, so to speak. And so the only way that we could keep a buckling, if she has one, is if it was weathered.
Yeah, which we don't plan to weather anymore. I'll probably eat my words. Like, why do I even say these things? But if she has girls, we will likely keep one or two. And sell one or two. Yeah. Just depends on how many she has and how things go. You absolutely never know. I'm not counting my goat kids before they're here.
Yeah, and we witnessed lots of goats being born this past year, and the intense emotional attachment that happens when you see a baby goat.
Which we know about that.
And
we know I can't get rid of chicks. Well,
and that's
chickens.
What I'm saying. That's like, what I'm saying is
if I feel like they're mine, I can't. I'm
anticipating that. I'm anticipating that immediate, deep emotional attachment. Jacqueline says we'll maybe sell one. I don't know that she will be able to do that.
We'll just see. We will just see. I want to show you a picture of Willow. I can't even get my words right because I'm so excited. I want to show y'all Willow. Now, her name is Willow at her current farm, but, we
want to call her Creamer here.
Eleanor wants to call her Creamer. I'm like... Eleanor wants to call her Creamer.
And now, because it goes with our
breakfast-themed names. But we'll just see. I have been calling her Willow for like over a month when I think about her or when I talk about her, so Willow might stick. But this is Honey's mother, and she had two sisters that were born with her as well, and they were brown and white with some stripes and had white eye stripes like the mom has, but the mom is like a cream color like Honey is, and I think her face markings are really pretty, and her ears are so long. We love the long-eared Nubian goats. They are just our favorites. So she is coming to the farm on Friday.
Yep.
She will be here on Friday, this Friday.
We will almost certainly do some sort of either a short video or a live or something like that. I wish it didn't get dark so early because we would definitely be doing a live out there Friday evening. But since we both have full-time jobs, we've got to figure that out. Now, I will be remote on Friday, so I will be able to run out and check.
Maybe we can do some live stuff so y'all can see. But another thing is, and I know we talked about this on the last live, our barn doesn't currently house any animals because it sits in the dead center of our property, and we really like just the beauty of our property. We enjoy it, and when we got here there were a lot of fences that kind of blocked views, and they had those fences for reasons. They had big Labradors and they had cows, and you have to have fences. We know that if we have animals, gotta have fences. But we took down most of the fences because where they were at didn't make sense for how we were going to use the property. And now we are putting infrastructure back in to be able to use the barn specifically for the goats. And right now the goats are still on their temporary spot, which is where they need to be. For right now, that is absolutely where they need to be. I'm not as concerned about coyotes or anything like that as long as they're in that smaller space. And they have all the room that they need at the moment. But with getting Willow, this new goat that is bred, we want to make sure she stays extra comfortable. So for now, they're going to have another temporary shelter, which is going to be like 6 foot by 10 foot, and it'll have some raised bedding areas in it with pallets and some plywood and hay. They're going to be nice and cozy and stay warm and stay draft free while we can work on the barn, because we were talking about it this week, and the weather has prohibited us from being able to really have time in the holiday to work on the barn the way that we need to, because the entire side of the barn that we want to use is full a very heavy wood. It's not just scrap wood, it's 10-foot beams, like 12 by 12
It's basically a full-size deck that's been taken down and stored. And
it's huge, and there's all kinds of other like really big stuff. So we've got to be able to move that, and it's just the two of us, and it gets dark early and all that good stuff. But we are going to be moving that. We are also going to be building a goat pasture that's going to take over the whole hill. Eleanor says she's hungry. She's ready to eat dinner.
I don't know why I didn't think about, we were talking yesterday, maybe the day before, about wanting to go ahead and get started doing that, moving the wood out.
Okay.
But we were a little worried about the wood getting stuck somewhere. Like we put it somewhere and don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want it to be out in the weather because it's been dried off for a long time. I mean, it's been dry for a long time. And anywhere that we could put it, it's either going to be taking up space inside the barn, or we've got to bring it all the way up to our shop. And to do that, the ground has to be very dry because we need to use the truck and the trailer. And there's just been things that have been in our way, and we've been in our own way.
Well, and what I was thinking was if we put it on the trailer, then we could tarp it really well.
Yeah, we could do that.
And
but then if we need the trailer for anything,
well, and we will because we've got to get hay.
Got to get some more round bales.
But we gotta get the barn, a space in the barn set up.
It's very doable. It's very doable. We have just got to work through exactly how we're going to do it. And I have been a little stuck on wanting things to be the way that they're going to be forever. I'm that way. I want to think it all out and plan it all out, and then what ends up happening is I take too long doing that, and then we've got to get something done, and so then it's just done, and the way that it's done ends up being totally fine. Yeah. And I've got to get over myself. That's my problem.
We have this mentality that like everything that we invest in infrastructure-wise needs to be permanent, and that's just, I don't think that that's the way that
I've moved away from that. I really have moved away from that. I'm better. There's
a big difference in, I don't know, that just doesn't make sense the most to me.
And it doesn't on a farm. I mean, it's different. Like if you're designing your backyard and you're putting fences in, you don't want to have to take that down and redo it. But when it's constantly changing what animals you have and things are growing, Tracy said, I'm the same way. I know you are. I know you are. You get me. You get me.
Yeah, right, but so we're trying to get to the point where, and Jacqueline says she's over that already. I don't know that we're completely over it together. But so we're trying to get to that point where we're not afraid to go ahead and make the move or make that step. Because that anxiety there of, well, what if next week I think of a better idea? Or what if we do this and then it cuts off a path that we like to use and we just hate it? Well, if we hate it, we can change it. We change it and make something else work. Yeah. So
I think our limited amount of time is what drives. I know that our limited amount of time is what drives that for me, because for me, anytime we have a big project on the farm, especially like with this one, Eleanor is not going to be right with us when we're doing that. She'll likely be with grandparents, and so that's time away from her. That's our energy spent on working on something, and if I have to redo it, then I feel guilty that I have to redo it because then I have to take more time away from her. It's that cycle. I'm doing better with that kind of stuff, but it's still something that I struggle with.
Well, and we've gotten to where it's not as big of a deal that Eleanor has to be somewhere else for us to do this work, because she can be there with us. She can be in with the goats while we're working close by, or she can be right there with us, handing us what we need next. We just have to make sure that we have our parent filters on with what we say when we get frustrated. But yeah, we're working on that, getting to where when we have an idea, it's okay just to go ahead and go for it, especially when it's not like a huge investment when it comes to money.
There's not enough space here. Eleanor's got a box of candy canes. That's the other thing. We got to decorate more for Christmas. We have our Christmas tree up. Eleanor has her Christmas tree up. She's got some candy canes.
And I want to tell you what you can do with these. We're also going to play a game with candy canes.
Yeah, we're having a Christmas party soon, aren't we?
Is it on Christmas or before Christmas?
It's next week. We're having a Christmas party at our house with our Sunday school friends next week.
But
we're gonna play some games.
We're also gonna do the thing with our friends that I wanted to do. I wanted to tell you. So we have 18 candy canes for this. See, there's 18 there. So you need 18 candy canes or more for this, and you get a cookie tray, cover it with tin foil. And then get like 4 on each.
Talk loud.
So you like make them. Don't make them close together. Like make 4 on each.
This is a experiment that we found on YouTube, a Christmas experiment list.
And then you put them in the oven.
Yeah, you do experiments with candy canes where if they're cool, they're hard. And if you put them in the oven and heat them up a little bit on tin foil,
then when you take them out, you bend them and make different kind of shapes.
Yeah, you can bend them into whatever shape you want once they're warmed up. And we're gonna do that, aren't we?
I'm gonna give you guys some ideas on the bag for the holidays.
Some candy cane ideas. Okay. Okay.
What? It's on red.
Yeah, I'm with you, girlfriend.
That's what they'll do.
Well, Zach, what is that thing that you said we are gonna get for Christmas?
Oh, it tells us how to
The thing
make
that I got on the list for today. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that that's going to be for Christmas because it's going to be. It may be a while before we get it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless you want to get it for Christmas, and then we could
I
get it
don't
for
know.
Christmas. So
I don't know.
Today was the last day that Harvest Right freeze dryers were on their Black Friday sale, which was a big discount, and so
It's still happening.
yeah. Well,
Still
until
like December.
No, it's until midnight tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I went ahead and called and put one on layaway so that we could take our time paying for it, but also so that it would lock in that price.
Yeah.
Because surely they'll have like a Christmas sale as well, or maybe a New Year's
This is
sale.
supposed to be their. No storms tonight.
But I wanted to make sure that we got that price because we're talking about it. We're definitely going to get one. We're just not exactly.
He really wants the freeze dryer.
I do.
And I'm for it.
Yeah.
I'm for it. They are just very expensive.
They are. They're
very expensive. But I'm not big on credit or you know.
We're not going to use credit to get
No, that's not how this works. But I don't like to buy things until I have the money to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
But locking in the discount is what I'm okay with. I'm okay with doing it because of that.
And layaway is not something that a lot of people do anymore because so many places you can do the pay later options.
Mm-hmm.
And those are so tempting, especially when they break it down for you and say, well, it's only going to be this small monthly payment, right? But this was a purchase that we wanted to make sure that we don't do that with. This is, even though it's a bit of an investment, because it definitely will be something that we'll use for a long time, and we definitely will use it, and it will be helpful with all of our business endeavors. I guess we're going to use it to build websites too. I don't know.
Somehow we will make that freeze dryer build websites.
But I mean, I'm trying to talk us into it, I guess. But no, it will be an investment for the farm.
Okay, Zach doesn't ask for anything.
Yeah,
Zach does not
ask.
He does not ask for anything, and so the last thing he asked for was the Haas wheel hoe.
Mm-hmm.
And I got you the Haas wheel hoe for your birthday in February.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants a freeze dryer. I just chalked that up to, he doesn't spend money on himself. He doesn't, so if he wants the freeze dryer, we're gonna get the freeze dried. And I told him that. I had my initial reaction of, oh man, like really, but then I was like, he doesn't ask for anything. So
I'm
not saying you deserve a freeze dry.
So here's the thing: if it wasn't as expensive as it was, I would have no problem just outright saying, I'm saving that, or I'm pulling some of my savings for that. But because it's kind of that next step up for us on price, and so it's hard to justify. I'm seeing lots of folks saying the exact same thing, that they'd love freeze dryers. Doesn't make sense just for one person. Yeah, it's all about and Sue says it's worth it because you guys are young and freeze dried can last 25 years.
I like that logic, Sue.
Yeah.
I do. I just put, I don't know do links work? Do links work in comments?
Okay.
You can copy and paste it if nothing else.
I put the link to Zach's shirt in the Facebook comments because you're getting a ton of comments about your shirt.
Like the shirt, and I like the shirt. So that's something that I'll ask for every now and then, but I'll just buy it for myself.
That's normal.
Shirts. And they're not expensive.
That's
I can't
like
bring myself to pay a lot for a shirt. Let's see here.
So we're getting Honey's mom. You copy that. We're getting Honey's mom this week, and our next big project that's going to take most of our focus is the barn, and we're going to put some stalls in the barn as well. And I learned on my road trip with Tracy how to milk goats, and I'm very motivated and excited about that. Depending on how many kids she has and how well all of that goes, since she's seasoned, I'm not super worried, but anything can happen. If she has 3, then it'll be a while before I'm able to milk share with the kids. It'll be several months, so I've got plenty of time to get milking station built, get everything built and done for that. But I do plan to milk this specific goat. And I told Tracy, I said, do you know how sad I'm going to be if this goat isn't bred? But Jennifer, the lady that we're getting her from, has assured me she's absolutely bred, 100% definitely bred. And I trust that. So, like, gosh, I'd be so sad.
If it doesn't happen this time, then we'll try again in the spring.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. That's just that's the way that we are. Well, we do get our hopes up about stuff, of course, and especially when it's something that you have to plan for like that. But yeah, if it doesn't happen this time, we'll try again in the spring. And it won't be a whole lot longer before Honey is old enough to try that if we want to. But I mean, that's give her some time there, but not years or anything like that.
No. Well, I think Honey could be bred this time next year.
That would make sense.
You really need to wait until they're over 18 months old. Is ideally for their health over 18 months old with a Nubian. It's different. It's different with different breeds.
And this is all. Anything you hear from us about breeding goats is secondhand information because we don't have that experience ourselves yet. But we
I'm trying to absorb.
Avid researchers.
I'm trying to absorb everything that I can.
And we'll be upfront with you anytime that we're telling you something. If it's secondhand information that we don't know ourselves for certain, we're pretty good about telling you that. But it's like that a lot in the garden when I'm planting stuff. And when we start a project, a new type of project around here, a lot of times it's our first go at it. And that's just because of the season of life that we're in and that we moved. We moved to the farm 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So
this is we're headed into our 4th year. Do we have any idea what tomorrow's video is?
We don't have to tell them. We don't know.
No, just tell them that we don't know what
tomorrow's video will be a surprise to
tomorrow's
just you.
video may be a little bit about
a lockdown.
Mine and Tracy's road trip.
Also about a lockdown because tomorrow's lockdown.
Oh.
Yeah. That's
so
a good
Eleanor is saying tomorrow is lockdown for our eggs, when you're incubating eggs, the last 3 days of incubation, we call it lockdown because it's when we stop turning the eggs and we up the humidity. And so, yep, that will be tomorrow. She's been using our little countdown calendar. She loves that thing.
Did I move the chicken today?
I don't think you did.
Yeah. So tomorrow's video may be an evening release.
Yeah.
So don't give up on us if you don't see it first thing in the morning like we like to put them out. Every now and then they wind up out in the evening.
If I didn't move it this morning,
tomorrow's video will probably be out in the evening. It'll be hot off the press, you know.
Hit the button on top of it.
Hot off the, yeah.
So the chicks, anybody who came in later, the chicks have not hatched yet. They are set to hatch Sunday and Monday and maybe Tuesday. And we are going to live stream some of that. Okay, it is 4 days. We're going to live stream some of that, and that'll be in our videos next week, too. We'll be sharing all of these chicks with you. Eleanor's gotten into the snacks.
I've been answering some questions that have been in comments on that hatching video. If you ever have questions about hatching chicken eggs or duck eggs, let us know. Those are things that we can definitely answer firsthand. We have a lot of experience with hatching chickens and ducks. So anytime you have questions about that, you know, leave them in the comments, send us an email, something like that. We'll be glad to address those. And I like to address them in comments because it's there for everybody to see as well. So you can go back and look and see that. And we will be having a lot of videos around hatching in the next few months.
We're gearing up for the 2023 chicken breeding, egg shipping, chick shipping, selling season for our hatchery season.
Yes.
So our orders will open January 1st, which is coming up really fast.
Yep.
And Eleanor, honey, this is the crinkling is killing me.
She's already got a bag of Cheez-Its open, and she's working on a bag of goldfish. So
just one. All right, go sit down.
Oh man. Well, so yeah, January 1st is coming up super quick. That's when our orders will open up. Is that going to be just chicks, or is it going to be hatching eggs and chicks?
The way that our orders work. Please go in there with those. I can't handle the crinkling. Go in there, please. I can't think.
That means that we have to hatch some test batches for y'all too in the next month or so.
Okay.
Well, the orders are opening. That doesn't mean that we're going to be shipping right away, but we like to test our fertility.
Yeah, we always. And we hatch for ourselves as well. We are constantly adding to our flocks. And I'm not going to say that we don't get eggs and chicks from other places, because we do, but we try not to. We try to keep all of our breeding stock comes from us, comes from our farm at this point. So we will open our orders on January 1st, and we do pre-orders for eggs and for chicks. And so by the time I am putting eggs into the incubator to hatch to fulfill orders, I can contact the person that's ordered and say, okay, your chicks are going to hatch on this date, and here's the week that they're going to be shipping in. And I don't give exact dates, but it's all around shipping windows. And then for eggs, we estimate how many we're going to have per week, and you also get a shipping window for that as well. So your shipping window might be a 2-week window in the time that your eggs would ship out, just to ensure and everything is collected fresh within a day or two of shipping out. I try to do the same day. She's back here eating her snacks. I think Eleanor's ability to wait on us has run out, so we're gonna need to sign off. Getting to the end of it, and
y'all have been so great to hang out with us for this long tonight, so thank y'all so much. Let's see here.
Midnight.
Do you have to order X amount of chicks? So our website, headfamilyfarm.com, has very detailed information for our shipping requirements and for how all of that works. If you'll go there, headfamilyfarm.com, we do not ship less than 5 chicks So just go there, you'll find everything, and I believe prices are listed. It'll just say out of stock, but the prices are the same. We are going to be offering not black copper, Marans this year, and there'll be blue copper, black copper, and splash copper. We've got a lot of different color varieties in there, and we are breeding for that dark chocolate egg color. We will also have rainbow, we call them rainbow hatching eggs available, and that'll include some of our lavender Americanas, some of our black Americanas, our olive eggers, our Easter eggers that lay blue or green, and then some of our Wyandottes, all the beautiful laced birds that you see, and black copper Marans. And that just depends on availability and what we have, but we are going to have a lot of eggs this spring.
Yeah.
we were getting 3 dozen eggs a day, y'all, not a week, a day this spring.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I prefer selling them as hatching eggs.
Yeah, I do too.
But there's another side to that I don't like, and that is, and something that we're very upfront about, is that hatching eggs are a gamble.
Yeah, I talk about that in our videos.
If you buy chicks from us, then you get the chicks, and we pretty much guarantee that they'll make it there for the most part. There are some exceptions, but for the most part,
we can't control what happens with USPS. But if you order chicks from us and you get your box of chicks, and within the first 24 hours you have chicks pass away, as long as you've put them under the required heat lamp and they're warm. I've had people order chicks and not put them under heat when they got them, and they had problems. But chicks have got to be kept warm. But I send all of the information in an email to care for your chicks when they arrive, my tips of what to do, and a printout. So I give the information, but if anything passes away in 24 hours, we care very deeply about our animals and about our chicks, and we say a special prayer before those boxes go to a USPS. But USPS is very adept at shipping chicks. They've been doing it since the 1920s. I was just telling somebody the history of that. They ship overnight to 2 days, but if anything passes away, we refund you. We try to be as equitable and honest and as good as we possibly can be in those situations. And then for hatching eggs, like Zach said, they are a total gamble on how they get handled in USPS as well. But same thing, they're a gamble. They're a gamble for us when we order them from someone else. Like what we've got in the incubator right now, that's one reason I wanted to do that video that included local eggs and shipped eggs. And what's wild is we have a better development rate on the shipped eggs than we do on the eggs that we got locally from a friend. And I mean, that just goes to show anything. There are tons of different things that affect the fertility and the development rate of eggs.
And also the shipped eggs from a breeder, that's a slightly warmer climate than what we're in right now, I think.
He's from Ohio.
I thought it was
he's in Ohio.
Okay, I was thinking Texas.
No.
But anyways,
he's in Ohio.
Throw that
There's
out
another
the door.
one in Texas that we order from.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that affects fertility rate and all that. And so when we order shipping eggs, we understand hatching eggs. Well, they have to ship them, but yeah, hatching eggs. When we order shipped hatching eggs, we understand that a success from hatching eggs, I mean, we're okay with 25%.
We're a lot of times we're happy with 1.
Yeah.
In certain situations, I ordered 3 dozen black copper Marans eggs, and we had 4 chicks hatch, and we had 1 hen out of that, out of 3 dozen eggs. And they came all the way from, why have I forgot? North California. And I've ordered other eggs from California and had excellent hatch rates. It can be the time of year, it can be the day of the week, it can be who touched the package while it was traveling through USPS. It's a gamble. So we're just We're just making sure that y'all know that.
We take great care with packaging those eggs. We use some of the best shipping materials that are out there for shipping eggs.
We've done a lot of research.
A lot of research,
a lot of trial and error.
And we don't want the money bad enough to try to not care about getting it to them. To us, it's more about getting it to you than the money part of it.
One of the main reasons we offer chicks is because most small hatcheries like us do not offer chicks. They only offer hatching eggs. And with hatching eggs being such a gamble, I wanted to be able to offer people chicks. And chicks in smaller quantities, because a lot of breeders, it's 15 chicks, it's 10 chicks. I wanted to be able to offer, the smaller backyard chicken owner or someone that's wanted to get started with chickens, the ability to get just a couple, because that's who I was in the beginning. That's who I was, and that's who my friends are. So I wanted to be able to do that, and we have. We are going to sign off.
Yep.
We're going to say goodnight.
Before we go, I wanted to remind you that our friends over at Chestnut Hills Farmstead are going to be going live, I think at 8 o'clock.
Say bye.
Say bye. Let's see, what did I do with that? Okay, here it is.
Bye.
Let's see, where's the time on that? Yes, 8 o'clock. So Nick and Zoe over at Chestnut Hills Farmstead will be going live at 8. I believe on Facebook and YouTube, definitely on Facebook. And so if you are looking for some more farm talk with some great folks, they are a lovely couple with a wonderful family, and we have already benefited greatly from our relationship with them. Enjoyed Thanksgiving turkey that came from their farm. We bought one of their turkeys, and it was amazing.
We bought one of their turkeys after being at the farm and seeing the turkeys, and I photographed the turkeys for their website. Y'all, their website is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I just love everything that they're doing. So, and they've got some really wonderful big dreams.
It's Chestnut Hills, the moon pie lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is the whoopie pie lady. And she has those available. I am about to order cheese. Zoe, if you're listening, you're about to get a text message from me because it's been on my mind for 2 days. I have got to order my dad some cheese straw cookies for his birthday that's in like 2 weeks. So I've got to order those, and I want to order some other little goodies because I love baking at the holidays, but if somebody else can do the baking and I can gift, some really wonderful and support small farms.
It's so good.
We're just past Small Business Saturday, so.
Yeah. So they'll be live at 8. So if you want to hang out with them, that'll be 8 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. We enjoy being with them during those times.
Late.
So
no, it's not that late. It just feels late.
Yeah,
I know.
But thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight. Be on the lookout for an evening release video tomorrow.
And we're gonna have an announcement for y'all for the month of December. We have got some plans. We're all about giving back, and we talked about a lot of the blessings that we've received in the last year and continue to receive. And we just want to make sure that we continue to put that back out into the world and bless others. So we have something that has been on our hearts for several weeks, and something that we want to involve y'all in, but that we are doing ourselves, that y'all can be a part of. So information is coming about that. I had really planned to share that with y'all tonight, but I was not able to get that done, and we will be sharing it with you very soon. So look out for that, probably before the weekend. Or on this weekend. We'll be able to share that with y'all and have it
ready.
Put
our heads together and get the stuff out to you.
Can I say hi to my teacher and see if she's on?
You can say hi to your teacher. I don't think she's on here though. Thank you all so much for being with us. I hope that you have a blessed and wonderful night, and that there aren't storms in your area, and we're going to sleep a lot better tonight without all of the thunder and lightning.
Yeah. All right, farm friends, y'all have a great evening. We are going to leave an end cap on here, just a still image, and we'll turn our mic off so you don't hear us getting dinner ready. But we're going to leave that still image up just for the folks that it's lagging behind a little bit on. We want to make sure that everybody gets to watch to the end of the video, and sometimes it'll cut off really quick when folks go off. So we're going to throw that ending up. Don't feel like you got to stick around because we're not going to be talking anymore. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Y'all have a great one.
Bye.